Welcome to Minneapolis by Night. This is a werewolf shifter, whatever the hell we decided to call this venue, side scene for McKenna as she is issuing a challenge, it seems. We're at the sept of the windswept frost. Shit's starting to get put in order after the chaotic nights that have occurred. And there is a new European man that has been seen strolling unmolested through the windswept frost. A couple of people seem to know him. The elders seem familiar with him. But for the most part, he seems to keep his distance or approach people very privately. However, it has been whispered around that this could potentially be someone brought in to help clear up some of the questions regarding this recent events.
Okay.
And he's not made himself unavailable. He's pretty blatant about it as he's strolling around, but most people have been perhaps hesitant to approach.
Well, McKenna doesn't have curiosity or anything, but she knows that he doesn't belong here. Well, not that he doesn't belong here, just not that he's not normally here.
Okay.
So, when she sees him walking through, she'll approach him and she'll just be like, "Hi, who are you? I've never seen you here before."
He turns and, "Good evening. The name is Christian Patron. And you are?"
I'm McKenna Kane.
Roll me a perception empathy.
7. Yeah, 2.
Now, you get the impression that he's asking to be polite, but he already knows the answer.
Got it. Oh.
He says, "Well, good evening, McKenna. What can I do for you?"
No, like I said, I just haven't seen you here. Was curious about what brought you here. With all the things that have gone down, I can't imagine it's much of a place that anyone new would really want to be.
It's these things that have brought me here. There are far too many unknowns and questions, and far too few people qualified to answer them. Wow. Roll me a perception alertness.
6. Oh, yeah, I got 3 there.
It's almost unnoticeable, but he kind of seems to brush like he's got something at his hip as he says, and more importantly, there's no one here capable of dealing with anything that should arise. At least not with any kind of authority.
Well, if I hear correctly, the warder and the Sept Beta returned.
Yes, she may be one of them that needs to be dealt with.
And she actually just looks at him skeptically at that. No. I think they have. I think it's different, but I don't know. I haven't heard what she has to say.
I will when the time arises. Her and anyone else of relevance to the situation.
Well, is there anything I can do? Being a half moon, it's kind of in my territory as well. I reside here.
He'll raise an eyebrow and he'll say, "Yes, I'm given to understand you reside here. Also that you are perhaps not quite of rank to be involved in this, but there could be opportunity for you to learn more."
Well, funny you mention rank. I need to find someone of the rank I need to obtain right now. That's a challenge I'm looking to make.
He'll chuckle at that and he'll say, "Indeed. And what exactly do you think you're looking for?"
Well, I need to find someone of the appropriate rank and auspice. Having a really difficult time finding that here. I may have to go to the other sept.
You may find them to be a little light as well. Out of character, I don't know offhand what they have.
Okay.
Any. That's why he's being vague.
Yeah, I think they are too. So I'm left just looking for the appropriate person. And actually this is technically a perception primal urge here because you can actually tell if someone's of higher rank than you are.
And I'm probably going to throw in some other information depending how successful you are, but
Okay. Wow, I'm opening the forum instead of the character sheet here. 6. Opening the right thing is probably helpful. Oh, I got 3.
well, first and foremost, it's you would find him uncannily attractive on a primal level. Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty blatant. He comes from a fantastic bloodline. Additionally, you can recognize that he is indeed of higher rank than you. That he is rank 2.
All right.
However, he does seem to speak and act with perhaps a bit more authority than you would expect from me, Foster.
Oh. She just looks at him. I may have found who I'm looking for.
Oh, you think so?
You are Fostern, correct?
I am indeed.
Well, I guess that leaves me to ask what moon you're born under.
He says the only one that matters when it comes to passing judgment.
You are the right person. She just smiles. So we'll make this official. I'm officially making a challenge to you for Fostern.
He lets out actually a fairly honest and rich laugh at that. And he said, "I see I'm going to get far more than I anticipated at the sept here." He says, "I'm sure this will be
One should always expect the
interesting."
unexpected, especially as a half moon. She chuckles.
He says that is indeed well spoken. He says, I must admit, it's been a fair amount of time since I was called upon to set a challenge.
She just looks at him and says, surprise!
More importantly, you are not of my tribe.
No.
Nor do I suspect you seek membership in my camp, which means I must reevaluate the criteria on which I challenge you.
No, I'm certainly not one of yours, and that certainly means I cannot join your camp.
He says, but I think I know what would be a fitting test.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
She smiles.
You see, I've heard tell that there is a kinfolk in the area who is not a member of, or really isn't even welcomed by either of the septs. However, he has had contact. A Get of Fenris, I'm given to understand, who is some sort of one of these will workers and has served as a liaison from that side, but has not been brought further into the sept where he might serve our interests more fully. This is something that I feel is a oversight. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, considering the person who was speaking with him is Heartlake Ice, the warder, and she's pretty much under heavy watch, as it were. Yeah, I can see why they're leery, but no, I agree with you. He didn't do anything.
That no others are capable of speaking with him, of answering these questions?
Apparently, they haven't taken the time.
As I said, an oversight.
Yes.
So that is your task, to judge his merit and decide if he is a worthwhile addition to the sept or if he is best kept as only a liaison to the mages.
Very well.
I leave it to you to decide what criteria you judge him on.
She nods. Okay.
He says, you will find me here when... And he gestures and he says, I've set myself up a temporary place of residence. You can locate me there when you have completed this task. I look forward to finding out what you learn and what you decide.
All right.
And he turns and walks, and that's when you notice that there's like a top of the line RV parked on the sept.
Oh.
Tinted windows, very luxurious looking.
Clearly, it wasn't here before as well.
Yeah, it's definitely new.
Okay. Well, I guess her first mission is to try to find a way to locate this Get of Fenris kinfolk. And she knows that there's a couple Get on the sept. If I recall, there's Loki's dagger and Windburnt, the Den Father. So her first go-to would be to go find one of the Get and see if they know how to find him, because she obviously isn't going to be able to talk to Heartlake Ice. So I guess first things first, she'll go to Windburnt because he's the Den Father and actually would probably know more than Probably Loki's dagger.
Okay. And you find him. He's got shit to do, but he's fairly easy to locate because of that.
Windburnt Raya?
Good evening, McKenna. What can I do for you?
I'm actually working on my Fostern challenge, and I need to locate one of your kinfolk. I understand that he is one of the will workers. He's one of your tribes anyway, maybe not directly yours, but
He'll raise an eyebrow a little bit and he'll say, "Well, I will not pry by asking what the challenge is. I don't think that's my place, but must say I'm curious to know who you decided to challenge."
well, our new friend here on the Sept, he seems to be of the right auspice and rank, so
He'll let out a deep laugh at that. And he'll say, "Oh, I'm sure it's going to be interesting if you went to him for your challenge."
that I did.
You are aware of what he is, I see.
Well, considering she didn't pick all of that up with that, she's like, well, I know. I've got a slight idea. Not positive, but
As I said, it should be interesting. No, I'm not sure I want to know entirely what you need with a kinfolk for a challenge, or what any business you have with a kinfolk is. That's your business. What you do with your evenings is not mine. But
she just looks at him like really weird, but keeps her mouth shut because he's an elder.
I do know that Angrim, which is his name, yes, keeps a personal den in the way of our kind to the east of here, between here and the city. He should not be difficult to track, as he does also oversee a exceptionally healthy pack of lupus. Lupines, if you will. Beyond that, I can't tell you much other than that if he is at his den, I suggest you approach very politely, as he sees himself as the den father there, and he certainly has demonstrated, from my understanding, that he has earned his surname as well. But I would start to the east. I can't imagine he's hard to track once you get into his territory.
All right. I thank you for your help, Windburnt Raya.
He nods and says, "I look forward to seeing how this challenge goes."
Well, it should be a fun one. And she'll nod at him and let him get back to his work.
Okay.
And she's gonna start walking towards the east end here, and when she gets a little ways out of the main of the sept here, she's going to shift down to lupus. I'm just gonna drop rage to do it.
Okay.
And start moving that way and start sniffing and looking around. She knows most of the Guru and Farah's scents on the set because she's been here longer than a lot of these people have, other than the elders. So,
all right. I will have you make a perception primal urge.
Okay. So 4, 5, 6. I think I get 2 more dice to perception and lupus. So -2 on it. Okay. 6. So that's diff 4. No, of course, I still only get 2, even at diff 4.
All right. Well, with 2, it takes you a little bit of time. There's certainly a lot of sense. Actually, you pick up a decent number of foxes and cats in the area, probably attracted to some of the other fare of the sept.
Okay.
And it seems there's you do pick up a brief trail that is faintly more of a hound odor, but with a touch of brimstone. It's
Okay.
very faint, but this strikes you as odd. Seems to kind of be ranging from the city and head back that way. But eventually you do find actually a fairly strong odor of a pack.
Okay.
Which once you've located it, wouldn't be hard to follow.
Okay. I will follow it carefully, cautiously.
Okay.
Try not to be too disruptive here because I know wolves.
All right. You do find an area where it seems you can tell the scent has been layered over more than once. They've obviously passed through frequently.
Okay.
And you can see what looks to be actually probably a pretty healthy den, almost a cave. But the scent seems to be freshest leading away from it.
It's leading away from it. Okay.
Yeah. You would guess that they probably have just recently left.
Okay, well, I will track down that, then follow that path.
All right. Roll me a perception alertness. I want to say that should be a reduced difficulty as well, I believe.
Yep, because I'm in lupus. All perception rolls are at diff 4. And if apprehensive counts, which it probably doesn't for perception, then...
No, it's a strictly audio.
Yeah, okay. So, 5.
You fairly quickly hear sounds from in front of you. Obviously, the sounds of a hunt. You can hear teeth snapping. Followed by a more guttural growl than you would expect from a lupus, and then the a heavy thud.
Okay. If I go in the direction of the sound.
Okay.
If I'm not seeing it, I'm hearing it, so I'm following that sound. keeping an eye out in front of me and around me.
You come to a clearing where there's a fairly large stag that has been felled.
Oh no! Did you really just say that to a Fiona?
There's a good-sized pack of timber wolves standing around it, and the standing over it is a human.
Okay.
But you notice he's got what looks like claws and an almost lupine jaw structure at first. And he kind of bends down, and obviously they're all feeding, but in one hand he has a fairly large warhammer.
All right, I'm fairly certain this is who it is, but I'm gonna just make sure and use Ascent to the True Form. And that is Perception, Primal Urge. If he's a mage, I believe it's diff 9. If that's it. But pretty sure it is. Enjoy that
I
gift.
suppose I could look.
That's what I'm doing.
Then I will let you to it.
Okay. Diff 6 normally. Okay, well, human, animal. 4 successes are needed to sniff out a mage at 6. Okay. So it's just 6. I like that they changed this. So I need 4 out of 6 dice. And I'm not going to get it. So I got 2. But 2 is enough to yeah, well, it'll at least let me know that he's kin. That's about all it's gonna tell me.
It is. However,
Okay.
I guess you know what? I could, at least
Right.
give you an image so you know what the hell you're looking at.
And seeing this, I'm guessing his back is to her.
Well, it was.
So she's going to be shifting to Hobbit at that point. That's a free action. So.
And he will turn around, and he kind of turns around as you do. And his jaw kind of seems to retract.
Are you Angrim?
He says, I am. And what can I do for you, Lady of the Isle?
Oh, I've come to speak with you on sept matters.
He kind of turns and wipes his face and stuff. Well, then my apologies. I fear I was not prepared for guests, and
I apologize. It was kind of a last minute thing. I don't mean to be rude.
Not a problem. What can I what can I do for you? And he kind of steps away from the stag. The wolves continue eating, and he leans his warhammer against the stump, takes a seat. And yes, he's dressed just like you see there.
All right. Well, as far as I understand, you were working with Heartlake Ice on relations between, forgive my wording, the will workers and us.
Not at all. That's a far more polite term than is often used to get towards us.
She raises a brow. Do I dare ask?
He says, well, I said, let's face it, most of the time I'm called a pagan or a deviant, or depending which party you're asking.
That's unfortunate.
It is. But yes, I am authorized to represent the Council of Traditions in Minneapolis.
Okay. Now, because I'm a Philodox, my force of habit is going to be to activate my Truth Earring, just because I don't have Truth of Gaia. Force of habit. It will help in conversation. I just need to roll my noses. 6. Four. Oh yeah, it activates. Pretty much all that's going to happen is if something that's said isn't truthful, it's just going to vibrate on her ear. Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, is there a reason you don't stay at the sept? That you stay outside of the sept?
Yeah.
You are our kin.
Still there? There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, my headphones must have cut out for a minute. He says, well, truth be told, I have not received an invitation, and given my dual nature, I didn't want to impose either. He says, and most of my pack, as well as myself, haven't interacted much with the Guru Nation on a whole. We're aware of what we are, but have had minimal contact prior to this.
That's really weird. Usually, Guru, especially those of my tribe and yours, tend to keep their kin close.
Well, I was born to kin parents, and many of the most of my pack, in fact, were actually captives, and were brought here as part of the reintroduction of Timberwolves. I helped gather them and establish a strong pack as well as rich bloodlines. Of course, these wonderful DNR think it's just because they're thriving in such a natural habitat and human hunters aren't interfering at all, but you and I both know humans interfere without a second thought.
Yes, they do. On many things. We also know that humans in general, with the cities and hunters, poachers, we're no stranger to those.
No, we're not, and certainly there's been more than one that gets lost and has a hunting accident in these woods.
No doubt, courtesy of you guys watching over things.
Well, it's a struggle, a fine line to keep it from straying into territory where they think a wolf hunt season would be prudent. But I've made efforts. And it seems there are very few morticians that can tell the difference between a hunter who smashed his head falling down a cliff or had it caved in by a hammer.
Oh. Well, that's fortunate for you. Glancing at the hammer.
Well, as long as one is discreet. To me, a hunter that would hunt kinfolk and slay simply for pleasure sounds an awful lot like a creature of the worm, as it were.
I agree. You seem to be doing a better job at watching things than some of the guardians are out here, which is kind of interesting. Do the guardians even know you're out here?
Well, that's unlikely. I haven't had any of them approach me. So whether they do or not, I could not speak to.
So do you have contact with anyone on the sept other than the warder?
There are those who know where I lay territory, and should they need me, they could find me. But beyond that, none have actively sought me out. Before you, of course. I must ask what prompted the change now.
Well, somebody noticed your lack of presence on Sept.
I didn't think
But
I
your
was
presence here.
relevant enough to have a presence. I know how many kinfolk are viewed, and it's
Kind of terrible.
well, I'm not going to come there to simply be a pawn when someone wants to make use of me.
She nods.
I assume that's not why you've sought me out.
No.
Or you would have at least asked me to hunt first, I assume.
It's just, you're out here and you're still technically on Sept area, but they really have not asked you if you wanted to stay on Sept instead of you and your pack here. They just let you hang out here by yourself.
Well, who approaches a kinfolk unless they have need of them? They knew where I was. It seems that the typical needs for a kinfolk haven't arisen, so why bother approaching? Everyone neglects that perhaps a kinfolk might have other abilities.
Well, that's what I understand, and I find it odd that they wouldn't extend to you an invitation to stay on the Sept, being what your abilities are. You might be able to help them with everything going on. Now, I like I said, I know that you're a little bit more than kin. I don't fully know the extent of your abilities, but it would seem that it would be helpful, more than likely.
Tell me, what did your warder do with the dancer once his mind was no longer shattered? Do you know?
I don't know.
Does anyone?
She probably does.
Perhaps she didn't want anyone else to know that there was one capable of healing the mind of a dancer or those who have walked the spiral. It's far easier to fight them when they're simply savage maniacs. The thought of healing them could terrify some.
Definitely, that leaves them on an even-keeled mind.
I won't pretend I'm capable of cleansing the blight of the worm, especially from someone that tainted, but I can at least heal their mind and bring them back to sanity, and that might be a terrifying thought. Maybe that's why none have sought me out, because they've been discouraged to do so.
Well, well, I mean, I've definitely... Let me put it this way. I can see that there are some of the worm that definitely could stand to be healed and might benefit from it. I've definitely, I mean, things I've encountered have basically been put to me previously revolving creatures of the worm. That this one in particular, I would agree, may stand some better ground if he were, well, it's been put to me that I have to cleanse him at a later date. I have all the time in the world. If I don't get him cleansed, I'm pretty much screwed. That's not now. I'm agreeing with you. There are those that it could probably be beneficial.
Well,
not all of them, of course, but
so you did not come here to breed, and you did not come here for my healing. You came here simply to chat? Or did you desire a hunt?
I pretty much came here to chat, yeah. And see about maybe getting you to come on Sept and offer you a place to be there.
So you came here to speak with me and attempt to discern my worthiness and usefulness.
Yes, and yeah, well, yes, in all honesty.
Very well, and I can explain it this way. I'm a capable warrior. I was trained in the traditional berserker methods. I'm a skilled life and spirit mage. I'm capable of healing, communing with spirits, as well as helping to clear the mind. I can also trace my lineage back to the last Jarl of Norway. I believe those are the relevant qualities that one looks for in a kinfolk. If you'd like, I can write it up in a document for you.
That's not necessary.
Give me a perception empathy.
Okay. Oh, gee, 5.
You can tell that he seems perhaps a touch, maybe not, probably the best word is bitter at the stereotypes that are assigned to kinfolk. You know, literally, he's irritated that in his mind he can quantify his value to Guru in those few bullet points.
Right.
And that seems to perhaps have him maybe a touch bitter.
Right. Well, no, I don't blame him. She knows how most people look at kinfolk, so I get that sometimes we as Guru and other shifters don't always treat our kin in a desirable fashion. In fact, generally they are looked at as tools in the eyes of most for various reasons, but I assure you, I understand that you are a person and have feelings too. And I can understand your frustration with my presence being here and at least I'm being honest with you. I'm not here to play games with you.
I did not suspect you were. The question is what comes after the honest conversation. Is that the part where you drag me to your sept, where you tell me how I can best serve?
No, you know your abilities better than I do. Who am I to tell you how to use them? I'm certainly not going to drag you back.
But that's your ultimate intention, is to perhaps have me accompany you.
I would rather you do it of your own accord and free will, and I don't even expect you to come back with me if you don't really want to. I've
I would like
come
to
here.
help those who are my kin. I can't deny that. My concern is what happens when others aren't as reasonable as you are. What happens when a mere kinfolk stands up to a guru? More importantly, what happens if he wins?
Well, that's where you're a special case. You're, like you said, you're clearly not just kinfolk. You have your own abilities, and that, I think, should earn you more respect than they are willing to give you. And even if you do stand up for yourself, you have every right to do that. You are one of us, but at the same time, you're not. You're a different type of. You have your own things that we don't have. So you're while you are a kin, you're still one of the will workers, and thus you have your own things. Now, I would have to imagine that while, yes, some of us are not fond of your kind, there are those that respect them.
You have many pretty words, Lady of the Isles, but will those words ring out when it's me against a guru being judged? If I return with you, are you going to support me in my independence if it comes down to it? Can you really truly say you would stand with a kinfolk over a guru?
Well, I haven't exactly been treated the best by the guru myself. So I know what it's like to have them come down on you for things that aren't even in your control. I've had them frown down on me many a times, and I'm still here. So I think if anybody's in the position to defend somebody, it is me.
Well, then, I think the next course of action is you've volunteered yourself to help me gather some belongings from my den, as it seems I need to locate a new place of residence. Something else you can assist me in, as I don't know the terrain as well within the borders.
I can do that.
And he'll head back to his den. You notice that he doesn't even really seem to say anything, but the pack leaves what's left of the kill and
Right.
heads.
So when
follows
he
him.
starts to walk away, I'm totally rolling a perception empathy.
That's fine. He does stop to gather the antlers of the stag.
Okay, well, I got 2 on that. I'm just trying to see if he's agitated with me or not at this point. Yeah. So I got 2 on a perception empathy.
He doesn't seem too bad. He seems more doubtful. You know, he wants to believe what you're saying, and he's willing to give it a shot, but he also seems to kind of just have this skepticism. You know, like, all right, she says all this, but you and I both know how it's really going to play out. Type attitude. So
Got it.
but he heads back to his den,
Well,
Leads you inside.
apparently she has been volunteered to help, so she will help.
Inside there's like a big wooden table, and he says that I can replace. The altar itself isn't as meaningful. He rolls up some large leathers and furs, bundles them into an honest-to-God iron-bound chest,
jeez.
And then starts packing what look to be small jars and pouches of herbs.
All right.
He time it's leather sacks.
You broke up partially through that.
He's got the chest and two large like leather like gunny sacks type.
Okay.
So they've got shoulder straps, but they're big enough you couldn't carry both of them with shoulder straps at the same time. So
right.
Neither load would be light, but both of them would be manageable.
Yeah. Well, I also have another form that is handy to me in dealing with heavy, awkward crap.
Okay.
And if he's he's kin and mage, so me shifting to Krynos should not scare the shit out of him. But as a courtesy, in order for me to better help you, I'm going to take a bigger form. I'm not getting aggressive with you. Just a heads up.
He chuckles at that and he says, "Very well.
Yeah.
Probably best you warned me. We don't need a wrestling match or a homicide."
Yeah. I'd rather not a homicide. Oh. Well, this is going to be an epic roll. Oh, hey, I got a 10. So that brings me up to Glabro. Oh, hey, good. La-di-da, got it. I'm in Krynos now.
Okay.
So, yeah, she'll just kind of whatever he needs help with, she'll help with. She's in Krynos, so talking to him isn't going to be of much use at this point. Unless I suppose I could drop. I don't have that flaw. So I will just spend a rage and shift my vocal cords.
Okay.
So what am I taking?
He says, "Well, I'll take the chest. I suspect your shoulders can probably handle both straps easier than mine."
Got it.
Yeah.
Reach out. Yeah.
He kneels down. Kind of seems to whisper something as he touches a bare stone and stands up. His muscles kind of ripple a little bit, and he picks up the chest.
All right. She'll take the bags here and is there anything else that you need to take right now? Or
He says, "No, this will suffice."
We can always come back if we need to.
He says, "I'm sure I can find adequate materials for an altar at the sept."
Well, just know that coming back is always an option.
But he sets out and kind of indicates for you to lead the way.
And she will. Lead him back to the sept.
Okay. And I'm assuming you'll help him find a suitable location for a large den.
Absolutely. What kind of, she'll specifically even ask what type of space he's looking for.
He says, well, I prefer at least a small cave. Dirt dens tend to not suffice when it's myself and a pack of 7. Preferably at least earth and water, wind as well, if possible. Places where the elements can be touched easily.
All right. She's gonna ponder this for a minute here. She knows the sept pretty well.
Okay.
You know, I might know a spot.
He says, lead the way.
And actually, just because it is the sept, I'm rolling higher or lower. There's definitely a spot like that there.
Okay.
As I said, so she will lead him to said spot. It's actually it's in the bond, but it's not like at the heart or on top of everything. Like the pack, as it were, will still have their space, and he'll still have the things he needs.
Okay.
And there go the lupus kinfolk.
Oh, yeah, I've been running the whole time. I forgot to do this. And apparently, Google has decided it hates me.
Yeah, you know. The joys of technology.
Anywho, so you find this location.
Yes.
Help him settle in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. And he kind of starts unpacking.
Once we're done hauling the heavy stuff, I'll go back to breed form.
And with a couple of... He kind of basically begins... He finds where the roots seem to protrude into this cave, because I assume there's trees above it and stuff. So
oh yeah,
he starts like basically just caressing those tree roots, and they seem to respond to his touch and shape themselves into shelves for him, where he places his pouches of herbs. And
cool.
And then he says, well, I do hope you'll at least come and visit now that I'm here.
Of course.
It'd be nice to have some conversation.
Of course. I live here, so don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I'll definitely visit.
I look forward to it. And do tell your septmates, I believe the word would be, that I'm available to assist in healing if needed.
I will.
Perhaps even a hunt at some point in the future.
Oh, we all like doing just that. I think a nice clearing of the bond may be necessary. Anyways, though I think it's fairly clear after this last unfortunate incident Doesn't hurt to check more.
Yes, it seems some did get past even my wards. I noticed the unusual number of homid scents around the border as we came in as well. Is there a large presence of kinfolk in the area besides myself?
There are some kin on the sept. Most of them are of the wolf persuasion. I know that we had some help from some humans in the know.
Perhaps that could be it. I did smell a significant amount of gunpowder and steel.
That stands to reason.
Yeah, he says, well, I look forward to future visits.
Yes. Perhaps you might want to meet the person who actually sent me to find you. He's new here.
Well, if you'd like. Seems that this is your show.
Yeah, she'll totally take and introduce him to the lovely Judge of Doom.
Okay. Well, that one we know his name because my lower third doesn't want to update.
Right?
Or if it is, it's not doing so on my end anymore.
No, it didn't update on my end either.
Thanks, Google. Glad you were there for me.
Google there for everyone.
Bigger letdown than fruit stripe gum.
Yep.
All right, so you take him to meet Christian.
Yep. Sure do.
Okay.
So I guess tracking him down through the sept should be interesting.
Christian?
Yep.
He's at his RV.
Classic.
Right. He's when you walk up, he's got a mixed drink and a cigar in his hand.
I guess everybody needs to relax at some point. That's her greeting, by the way.
He says, well, I suppose, I don't know if I'd call it necessarily relaxing so much as another day at work. I see you have brought someone with you.
Yes. Angrim, Christian, Angrim.
He nods. Christian says, greetings, son of Jarl. What brings you to our sept this evening? Night. Yeah. Angrim kind of just looks at you.
She just smiles and says, well, he'll be here to aid if we need him. Now, here's the fun part. I don't think anybody should fuck with him. She's just very very forward on that. If he's going to be here to help, there's no reason that we need to mess with him.
Well, I see your point. I suspect it won't be quite that easy to convince everyone.
Well, they may not agree on this stuff, but I'll tell you what, I'll stick up for him if it comes down to it, because he's here to help. There's no reason for it. He's better. He knows his abilities better than we do, so we don't need to be harassing him and interfering with his work. But being social with him isn't gonna hurt either. Just what I'm saying is maybe we shouldn't treat him as most of us typically would our kin.
He'll raise an eyebrow and say, perhaps that says more about how we typically treat our kin than it does about this circumstance.
Correct.
Well, I can spread the word that he's to be treated with respect, but ultimately someone else will be responsible for ensuring that that happens or dealing with it if it doesn't. I won't be present to deal with it all the time.
But I will be.
And you take that upon yourself?
I do.
He turns to Angrim and says, we'll have to chat more in the future, I suspect. But for now, McKenna and I have some private matters to discuss. And Angrim nods cordially, and
She'll give him a smile and a nod.
he turns and heads out. Give me a... Let's start with a perception primal urge.
Okay. It's okay. Nothing. All those ones. 3 ones, 3 successes. Nothing. Yeah.
All right. There's you know, something in the in Christian's eyes. It doesn't seem mean, but there's almost a little bit of like an animalistic, territorial ferocity to his look for a second.
Okay.
And then he nods and he says, "So you felt he would be an adequate addition, a beneficial addition?"
Oh, certainly.
And he gestures and
He's been outside protecting the bond the whole time. No, hardly anybody knows he's there. He's been taking out hunters and things of the nature that come out here, apparently deciding to hunt wolves.
He gestures to the seat across from him. Holds up an empty glass, kind of raised an eyebrow questioningly.
Sure. She'll take a seat.
Yeah. It says, well, perhaps we can start with the first things first, which is what, clarify for me the criteria you used to decide he'd be beneficial, on what basis you've tried him, etc.
I went with a straightforward, honest approach. I mean, not here to play games. He has the ability. Now, he can't fully cleanse a dancer, but he can cleanse their minds.
And you have evidence of this?
There was one that he did it to. The Sep Beta actually laid witness to that, and he was held. He was held. He's, as far as I know, still held here.
And you say the Sep Beta witnessed this. Did anyone else that you can verify this?
Well, clearly he did. He was the one who did it.
So we have his word.
And he spoke the truth. She smiled slightly and just kind of puts her hand to her ear.
He chuckles a little bit at that. And he says, so he can cleanse minds. That's beneficial.
And other things, I'm certain. If he can cleanse a mind, I don't see why he can't cleanse anything else. He said he may not be able to take away the corruption, but...
Well, it is certainly beneficial to have a healer. And one with such a strong bloodline that...
Like I said, he's also been defending the bond, where our guardians have been doing a less than stellar job. Especially while the warder was missing in action.
And again, we have this
firmer at their post.
His word.
Again, he spoke the truth, and I haven't seen any hunters here for quite some time.
He kind of raises a hand and he says, and now you are expanding on your evidence, and that's what it means to be a Philodox. He spoke the truth based on what you heard. Truth can be subjective.
Truth can be subjective.
More importantly, is I'm guessing you have limited experience with will workers. If he's capable of healing another mind, he's also capable of shielding his own. But now you've added to your case your own evidence, your observations. We're in a large wilderness area, and there have not been hunters. There's an abundance of wildlife, yet no hunters. That lends credence to his story.
Yes, and I can safely say that we have, beyond this most recent event, we haven't had much going on after our skin dancer issue. Between that and this fight, really, there haven't been any poachers, not much really interfering on the bond.
He holds up a hand, and he says, and now the other part of being a Philodox. Knowing just when to stop because you've won. You stated your case. I didn't object to it. You expanded on it. I supported your observations.
She nods.
There's a time to continue offering more evidence and a time to accept that you've already won and leave it. He says, but those are lessons that you have yet to learn. And that's fine. I don't expect anything else. You've begun the process. And that's what I expected from one who is prepared to accept the rank of foster. He says, and that I can grant you. You went forth. You not only judged him, but you also sought relevant criteria. You could have returned to me after a simple scuffle, a shared hunt, and then told me only of his abilities, only of what you personally observed. But you took another step. You observed and you interacted. You gained additional information. You supported your case from multiple angles. More importantly, you not only made a judgment, but acted on it. That's something that I find lacking on this sept. People willing to act once they've made a decision. And that certainly lends itself to the decision that you become take the rank of fostering on the sept.
She's going to make sure he is finished speaking before she says anything.
Yeah, he looks at you. He's clearly, his point's been made in his mind.
All right, so this is official then.
It is, and I will see to it that it is announced and that those elders in position of authority are notified as well.
She'll smile at him and I was actually gonna ask to you something. I just need to remember the name of it. It's a punishment, right? Just trying to remember the name. Oh, of course, they don't have it separated. Oh, I already have that one. This is irrelevant at this point for that I can deal with.
Yeah, that can be handled off scene if need be as well.
Yep.
So he turns and he says, I will make sure everyone is aware of this. You're welcome to accompany me, or I can handle it if you would perhaps prefer to go carouse and celebrate, as I know your tribe is wont to do.
We are quite fond of celebrations and often look for any means to do so.
He says, raises his glass to you, and he says, then may I be the first to offer you congratulations, Foster.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, she'll clink glasses with him.
And then he finishes his drink, puts out his cigar, and gets up and kind of heads off.
Okay, she'll just like look at the glass and be like, "All right."
He'll wait for you to finish as well.
Right. No, she's a Fianna. She can probably just slam this anyway if she's not finished by the time he is. So yeah, she'll finish her drink, and when he goes his way, she'll go hers.
He over his shoulder as you start to leave, he says, take the bottle. I have plenty more. Let me be the first to sponsor the celebration.
Well, thank you. Very generous of you.
And as he walks, he roll me a perception empathy.
Okay. That's gonna be my one. Oh, come on. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Apparently that's not working either, so I'll have to just trust you.
Oh, yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, I believe you.
Want me to upload a photo to Facebook? Just kidding.
He seems to do it casually, but you can tell he's being quite blatant. He tucks his hands in his pants pockets and kind of pulls back the jacket of his suit, and you can see a obsidian dagger at his hip.
Interesting. Interesting.
And I guess if you wanted to roll a int Garulor to recognize it, actually start with a perception primal urge.
Okay. One.
Okay, well, you would sense that it's a clave of some sort, but the other thing you sense is that you kind of can tell now why you had maybe a little bit of that almost territorial look, because even though Angram's been gone a while, there's kind of a lingering and very potent, almost like a musk. It would almost seem like a cologne, a very pleasant cologne, but it's very strong. And you would guess that it's probably because, as he mentioned, he has a strong lineage. So he's probably high pure, incredibly pure-blooded.
Pure blood. Yeah, pure breed.
So,
okay.
as well as lingering traces of other ones, similar but not his. Which, again, he told you as a pack of
right.
lineage-blooded Timberwolves. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And unless you have anything else, I'm going to assume McKenna just goes off to celebrate somewhere, whether with her tribe mates or other individuals or on her own.
Hell, maybe she'll go make Angram feel at home. Here, share some of this with me. Welcome. that ordeal.
Okay.
He said come back, so why not?
All right. So you're going to head towards you head towards Angram's, and we can blue book any relevant conversations you want to have there.
Okay.
And as you go, you do hear. Actually, you assume it's actually the Stargazer whispers lets up a howl, notifying the Sept of your gain. And if you kind of glance towards his clearing, you also see that he is seems to be kind of portraying, shadow acting this conversation. Although he seems to maybe poke fun a little bit at the Shadow Lord as he does so. So, and I think that will be it. So,
right.
Thank you all for watching. This has been another shifter scene for Minneapolis by Night. And while it is currently our downtime, there may be some other side scenes to take care of. Otherwise, stay tuned with the new month for new stories and new action.